In this video, we're talking about the top school districts in and around Colorado Springs, and we're getting to it right now. I'm Jacob.
And I'm Clay.
We're the Martin brothers. We're doing these videos every single week about what it's like to live, work, and play in and around Colorado Springs. So be sure to subscribe and hit that like button so that you know whenever we drop new videos.
Jacob and I are both full-time real estate agents, so if you guys need help with anything real estate related or just want to know a good place to eat, feel free to give us a call, text, email, or even come knock on our door. This is what we do and we love doing it and helping people just like you.
Okay, so we're going to be talking about some of the best school districts here in and around Colorado Springs. And what I did was I used some websites like greatschools.com as well as niche.com. Greatschools.com does not rate the actual school district, so they're really good about rating the individual school. So as a parent, I really suggest that you do your research. Use greatschools.com because that is a wonderful resource once you know like what area that you want to be looking in. Niche.com is really great because it gives you an overall view of that particular district. There are a lot of districts in and around Colorado Springs, so stand by and we're going to be getting with number 10.
Even though it's the lowest rated school district, it does have a lot of phenomenal schools within that district. Take this stuff with a grain of salt and be sure to do your own research, because if there is a school district that is rated lower, doesn't necessarily mean that it might be out. If you live within that district, you might be you might belong to a school that is really highly rated.
Absolutely, and I have personal experience with that, like with my children, and I'll discuss on that here in a bit when we talk about D11. But number 10, right, the lowest rated school that we're going to be, or district that we're going to be talking about right now, is going to be Falcon D49. Now, a lot of people are going to have some issues with that because there are some really phenomenal charter schools in D49 that are rated incredibly well. Clay knows some folks that actually teach there, and they've had really wonderful experiences in that district. So like he was saying before, like it's really dependent on like the school. So the school could be phenomenal and maybe the district is kind of falling behind a little bit. But that D49, Falcon D49 is going to be like on the eastern corridor. So imagine like Mark Shuffle Road and East. So that's what you're looking at in terms of, where it sits on a map.
So something else to consider is they're not making more land, so therefore they're building houses where there's land available, which tends to be east. So a lot of these newer charter schools are where there are newer development. So a lot of these newer schools are going to have higher ratings than some of the older schools because there's more construction going on, more money being poured into those developments, and trickling down into the school districts, whether it be the public school system, charter schools, and more.
All right, so number 9 is going to be Security Widefield District 3. And that's rated at a B-. So that's like South Colorado Springs in Security Widefield. So keep that in mind. B-, not too bad. Still, like when you're looking at these numbers, depending on where you're from, when you go to these sites like greatschools.com or niche.com, you're going to see that, chances are these schools are going to like outperform maybe the school or the school systems that you're experiencing right now are coming from.
Especially if you're like in a lower income or the deep south.
Like Biloxi, Mississippi, where we moved from.
All right, guys, next is number 8, which is the Harrison School District, which is D2, and that's located in the southeastern part of Colorado Springs, and that's rated at a B-.
And that is one of the older school districts here in town. So like I said, use these online websites to really get a better look and to like dive deeper in the district, but also like the schools that you have a higher likelihood of going to. And in another video later on, we will be discussing Colorado choice open enrollment. So one of the unique things about Colorado Springs is they do allow you to choice your child into a different district or a different school that's not your like home district or home school. So that is an awesome opportunity for all of us.
So the Harrison School District, some of the benefits outside of just the schools and the district itself is location and affordability. There tends to be more affordable living within that school district, closer commute to Fort Carson for those of you that are military. So those are some other things to consider when looking to relocate to Colorado Springs. Of course, you're going to be looking at schools if you have kids. You're going to be looking at affordability, based on your budget. And then you're going to be looking at drivability depending on where you work. And a lot of folks that live in that region of Colorado Springs tend to be higher military folks.
All right, next we're going to be talking about number 7, which is Colorado Springs D11. So that is the oldest school district here in Colorado Springs. It's a very large district. There's lots of schools within that district. And I have a personal experience with D11. So it is rated a B minus, which, is not the best, but it's not terrible either. D11 also extends, it's primarily like central Colorado Springs. It does extend to the northwest. My daughters went to a school called Chapita Elementary School. It's in D11, and it is one of the top rated elementary schools in all of Colorado Springs. Very high marks. It was a blue ribbon school multiple times, and we had a phenomenal experience with it. My oldest daughter went there starting in 4th grade, and then my youngest daughter went there from kindergarten through 5th grade. Again, a D11 school, and we had just an awesome experience there.
All right, guys, number 6 is going to be Peyton School District, okay? And that is going to be District 23, and that is also rated a B minus. So we've had a few B minuses here back to back to back. But Peyton School District is going to be located out east in rural east. And with the Peyton School District, it's going to be more sparsely populated just because it's less population out there, more like open ranches, farmland, and stuff like that.
All right, so number 5 is going to be Manitou Springs D14. So that has a B rating, not too bad. We actually know a lot of people that send their kids to Manitou Springs School, as well as 30 plus year old adults that grew up in that school district, and they all had really great experiences with it. Overall, I think there's a lot of like hands-on, like parental volunteers and everything like that in those districts. You do have some challenges with like lower income challenges where there's a lot of children that are in the school system that need a little extra help. But to me, it seems as though like the community itself kind of rallies around and lifts everyone up. And it's in the cool town, the cool city of Manitou Springs, which is super cool, very eclectic, and just a fun place to be.
All right, guys, number 4 is going to be Fountain, Fort Carson, which is school district number 8. And Fountain is located, for those of you that don't know, the Colorado Springs area is located just south of Colorado Springs off I-25. And it's literally called Fountain, Fort Carson. So that's going to be the surrounding area of Fort Carson. And that's going to be probably one of the more affordable places to live in El Paso County and the surrounding areas. And it's the closest to Fort Carson for you military folks that are moving to this area.
Yeah, great location if you want like a super quick commute and a little bit of a smaller community, which you have that, but then you're only like 20 minutes away from like all the amenities that Colorado Springs has to offer. All right, we're going to be talking about Monument School District. So Monument is a city that's just north of Colorado Springs, and that's going to be Lewis Palmer D38. They are a B or B plus?
They are an A minus.
A minus, all right. So they are an A minus. We're getting up there. And really great community. Although, keep in mind it is a little higher in altitude. Their weather is a little more severe, so you're gonna feel the Colorado effects a little more in that environment. But again, like the people that live in Monument really love it. They really love the school system. So the population for Monument is what, like
right around 10,000.
10,000, like around 10,000. So smaller community. I will say it is more like across the board. It is more affluent, right? So like just more like physical. There a lot of physical help and a lot of dollars going to that school district. But yeah, it's a good one. A-. All right, so number 2, we're going to be talking about Academy District 20. So that is rated with an A, and across the board, that is probably the most popular school district in Colorado Springs. So that's going to be like North Colorado Springs, spanning from like northwest all the way over to like northeast. Huge school district, a lot of really great schools. We ended up, my ex-wife and I ended up choicing our daughters into D20 starting in middle school. But overall, D20 has been really great to us, but so is D11. And, it's rated at an A, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, and for those of you, we mentioned it before, but for those of you wondering what choicing schools mean, what that is, the open enrollment, stay tuned. We're going to do another video here in a little bit about choicing and open enrollment here in Colorado Springs for those of you that might not be familiar with it. Alright guys, number 1 is Cheyenne Mountain School District, number 12. That was rated with an A+, according to Neat.com. Cheyenne Mountain School District is a really cool district and a really cool area here in Colorado Springs and El Paso County, just because of where it's located and what's offered. So that's going to be located in the southwest part of Colorado Springs or El Paso County, and right next to that, or right within that, you're going to have the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo, you're going to have the Broadmoor, you're going to right up against the foothills on the west side, so hiking, biking, you name it, dog parks, open spaces, you've got it all in that area. And their schools are, an A+, one of the best, or the best rating in El Paso County.
One thing to keep in mind though, they do not have a public transport bus system. So if you do choose, like D12 for your children, keep in mind you will be taking your children to school every day. You will be picking them up every day. They do not have a bus system. So I know for a lot of folks, that's an absolute need. And if it is, then you may want to be looking elsewhere.
Or get them a bike, a Segway, a hoverboard. They can get to school on their own.
All right, guys. So that was the best school districts in Colorado Springs. If you ever have any questions for us, feel free to hit us up. We're happy to answer any of your questions. Call us, text us, email us, come knock on our doors, whatever you got to do to get a hold of us. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button. If you enjoyed this video, give us a like, please. And if you want a different video in the future, hit us up in the comments and let us know what that is.
Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Bye
Bye guys.